studios. So I can't express to you guys how many times I would tell you use a professional. If you don't use a professional, it's going to end up costing you 5 times more in money and 10 times more in frustration. I remember when I got engaged the first time, and everybody said, "Well, go to this jeweler store, that one, or this store," and most of them were big box stores. And my parents had a friend who was a diamond jeweler, and I went to him, and that was a lesson well learned. And it took me through life when it came to jewelry. With me is Amber Schmidt from AuraLux.
AuraLux.
Okay.
I'll
I have to,
explain that later.
I have to, yeah, I had to get that out, otherwise I'll forget. So it's a jewelry company.
hmm
And what I know from talking to you outside of this room was within the company, there's probably way over 15 years of experience.
Absolutely, yes.
Okay, so what is AuraLux?
AuraLux is we're fine jewelers, but we like to do custom creations. So, really getting to know our clients, understanding their story, and then creating a piece that symbolizes that, something that they can pass down for generations and that holds a deeper meaning to them.
And it's interesting because we were talking before we got in the air. I was telling you about my wife's engagement ring, which is my dad's wedding band,
Yep.
or my mom's wedding band. I don't remember which one. Okay, which we converted to an engagement ring.
Yeah.
And you're right, it's so cool to take a piece that's been part of your family and keep it within your family. Do you get a lot of that?
We do. Yeah, actually, a few of the clients that we're working with right now have an heirloom piece passed down from a grandmother, and they're just wanting to reimagine it a little bit or update the stones to be more of their personality, but
Right.
keep the same quality and the memory that they hold for their family members.
So, how much of that transition comes from your mind and how much comes from their mind?
I like to say it's a fusion. I like to connect with the client and talk with them a little bit and really get to understand what it is that they love about the piece, what it is that they loved about that person, maybe that passed it down. And then I utilize a little bit of the spiritual side to kind of tune in and
Okay.
let it guide me towards maybe some stones that resonate with that, and finding pieces that, like elements to add into it that really represent that relationship or
And we're
that
going to go
union.
over some of the pieces that you've had here, and all those pieces are custom made.
Mm-hmm.
And if I could pull a stone from one of those pieces and put it in another one, because you guys have heard me say that I love tanzanite. Okay, and there was a time where you couldn't import tanzanite for a while, and just became one of my favorite pieces, my favorite stones. And I bought a bunch of pieces of tanzanite, so I would have them. I don't know why, but
Well, now that's a really nice thing to have because
yeah.
tanzanite's getting kind of rare.
So I have these pieces, and I don't know what I'll ever do with them. I moved 3 times, so somewhere it's in one of the boxes that I have. But I thought it would be a good investment. I don't know why I thought that. Is jewelry a good investment?
I think it's a good investment. You've got the gold, and I think high quality jewelry is a good investment. The stones are going to stay in value as long as you take care of your jewelry, and um, even if you end up passing it down to generations before after you, they still have that tangible asset available to them. The quality of the gold that you use is a big factor in that as well. So
Is there a difference in the quality of gold?
there is sometimes you've probably seen signs of "We buy gold here."
Right.
So they may buy your jewelry back, but then they melt it down for the gold, and then they do a recycled or repurposed um, metal versus a premium metal that is melted down from just the pure gold.
Really? See,
hmm
now, this is why I say if you don't talk to a professional, you don't know. So, yeah, I mean, I knew that if you sold your gold, they're going to do it by weight and they're going to melt it down. I didn't know that it changes the quality of it if they now repurpose it into something else using the melted gold.
Well, sometimes in the process of melting it down, there can just be little imperfections or things. So if you think about the more that you utilize or repurpose something, it can just become to have little imperfections like little bubbles or marks or whatever else in it than the original.
Okay, I'm a big James Bond fan, and Goldfinger came out, and he and some of what you see in the movies really comes out of truth. So he had a metallurgical and ability to melt down gold. Is there a law, or do you have to have, I guess, a permit or a license to melt gold?
That I'm not 100% sure on that.
So
I don't
you
melt
got
the gold down myself.
okay. So now I'm going to ask you. So I have a ring. I want to change the look. So do you go to a place that melts jewelry and then you repurpose it? Because I know it's not just a science, but it's an art. Okay, it's an art and it takes something that I don't have, which is called patience. Okay, I'm sure that if you look at one of the rings that has a big stone in it, might not take as much patience as putting in a bunch of little diamonds around it. Who does that? I know you work with your husband. Does he do it?
My husband doesn't do it. No, we actually have studied under a master jeweler,
Okay.
and his family's been in the industry for hundreds of years. So we utilize his supply chain. But what we would do in that process is, for instance, this is a project that I'm working on right now. It's an heirloom ring that was passed down, and they want to put higher quality stones into the ring. So what we're doing is removing the stones that are currently in there, and then we'll be adding the higher quality diamonds in for her.
Does that happen a lot that people want to take out older stones and replace them with higher quality stones?
It just depends. Sometimes it's a brooch that they want turned into a pendant for a necklace.
Yeah, because nobody wears brooches anymore.
Exactly.
Right? It's like,
Yeah.
who wears a brooch? What I learned when I got the first engagement ring done was an emerald cut has the biggest window. So it's so easy to see a flaw. So of course that was the route I took because I had a lot of money and I was crazy. But what's the most popular stones that people ask you for?
Well, diamonds a lot of the time
Right.
are popular. We have been getting a lot of requests for the tanzanite. And then actually one of my favorites right now is this Russian sphene ring. It is unique in the fact, I don't know if you can see this one or not, but it's unique in the fact that it has iridescence of green, yellow, gold. So what we like to work with are things that are a little bit more rare that we do the sapphires and the rubies,
Right.
garnets and all of that. But like this one, for example, is a yellow sapphire. We just like to find cuts of things that inspire and that are a little bit different than what you might find on the shelves at a mainstream jewelry store.
Well, if you do some of your research, you will find that a lot of the stuff at the big box stores are maybe not what they bring it out to be. Okay? And I don't know that for
That
sure.
could be true.
But if you do some research, that's what you're going to hear. Now, I saw it on the internet, so it has to be true. Actually, not. When you guys decided to do this, you left other careers to do this?
Well, we still do the other careers also.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you have family support when you said, hey, this is what we want to do?
No. I would say that they support it and that they think it is a really interesting venture and they like to hear about it. And if they have friends or anyone that they think would be interested in any of the pieces we've created, then they'll share it.
Right.
But that's more support than.
See, when I started this, I got no support. What I got was, don't be stupid, get a real job, it's a pipe dream. But I jumped all in, okay? And that's very hard for people to do.
Yes.
Because I was making really good money, and I was going to give up everything to do something that didn't exist. And for me, the more people say it's not going to work, don't be stupid, the more I stay focused on doing what I had to do.
Gave you the drive.
Yep. I hate when people say you can't do something. Okay. It's like, so
I have
you,
a theory. If there's a will, there's a way.
Right.
Right.
so the question is, do people come to you and say, hey, I want this done, but people tell me it can't be done?
We have had that. And we've also had people that just haven't been able to find the right jeweler or the right store. I mean, sometimes when you go to the jewelry stores that have been around for a while, they're very particular about what they want to touch, what they want to entertain. So even if we have to come down and make something from scratch, which we do 3D molds as well.
Okay.
So if there is a design somebody's looking for, then I'm going to find a way. I'm a researcher, so
Okay.
I'll be on the web trying to figure out if anybody's ever done it before. How can I make this work? Tuning in almost in the spiritual sense of like meditating on it and seeing if any insight comes through. Really trying to figure out how I can get that piece to work as best as they're dreaming it up to be.
What's interesting is you mentioned the word spiritual, and people sometimes may not believe it, but each one of these stones has a spiritual energy to it, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
Okay, and you could sit there with 3 pieces of tanzanite that look very similar, and the one that is meant to be with you, you'll have that attraction to.
Right.
Okay, and a lot of people think it's hoo-ha and ridiculous, but it's not. It makes serious sense. This world is built around energy, and I'm blessed. I sit across from people, and I get their energy, and I see who they are, in my opinion. Surely I'm a guy, so I've probably been wrong a lot. But that's a whole nother story. But when it comes to designing these things, okay, does anybody ever come to you and say, this is what I want? And in the back of your mind going, oh, really? Are you serious? You really want that? Okay.
Honestly, not yet. I've had really amazing clients that I've been able to work with so far. And it's interesting, again, you said everything is energy. And I
Right.
think what we've been putting out there of kind of like the vision for the company and who we really want to work with, the people that have been coming in it's been really fun projects. So I've been really excited
That makes
to
it
do
all
it.
worthwhile.
Yeah, and the creation and the design, that's my wheelhouse. Like
Okay.
I really love designing and kind of letting my mind run with that. And when we first got the opportunity to open the business, I just started flooding with all these ideas of things that I wanted to create and making pieces that symbolize different aspects of, some of the healing, the greater healing that we're trying to do in the world right now.
So, I mean, there's a bunch of pieces up here, and if I take this, because I don't want to give it back. So this is just basic earrings, right? And there are a bunch of diamonds down the side. You guys know me. For me, this makes sense because I buy it to keep it simple. Okay. Now, I don't wear earrings anymore, so they won't really work for me. But
Be a rock star look for you.
yeah, but then on the other side of the coin is these.
Yeah.
You got
So
them?
these I really love. They're super fun. They're in and out diamond earrings,
Meaning?
meaning that the diamonds are on the outside,
Oh,
and then
on
they're
the inside.
also on the inside.
Oh, how cool is
So when
that?
you're wearing them, they're kind of shining both sides.
yeah.
Yeah.
So these we're gonna put this here because I can't take them home if they're this way.
Your wife might want a little gift there.
So again, is that something that came through your mind? That hey, why just have an outside ring of diamonds, or is that something that has been out there and
You see those around the in and out. I just versus I like the things that have a little extra catch to them.
Right.
So when you're wearing it, it's going to be that unexpected glimmer that you're like, wait, what is that? And you want to take a closer look. So I like that.
do you get many calls for opals?
I haven't actually. One of the clients I'm working with right now had an opal in a ring. I think opals are beautiful, but they're very fragile.
Okay, so besides being very fragile, they say if opal's not your birthstone, you shouldn't wear it. Okay. And I don't know, do a lot of people come to you and say, hey, this is my birthstone, this is what I want? Because it's their birthstone?
I do get that, yes.
I mean, because my birthstone's emerald.
Hmm.
And I don't have an emerald ring, nor really have I ever had an emerald ring. Maybe it would give me more luck if I had an emerald ring. But I don't know, like, you see stones, and everybody has their preference. Okay, so I'm looking at this jewelry here, and a lot of it's really pretty, but a lot of it is not my style.
Hmm.
Okay, so of course the Tanzanite ring sits and falls within my style, but it's this ring here
Hmm. The Linda Jocelyn.
that I think this ring is really, really pretty.
That has your emerald in it.
Oh, you know what? I didn't even think of that because it's so light. But
The emerald on the side, yeah.
it is so, it's such a cool look. It's a pretty heavy piece.
It is. Yeah,
Okay.
that's chunky, it's funky,
Yeah.
very different.
Right. I'm going to put it up here. And the cool thing about it is it's very different. And for me, it's got to be very different. Otherwise, it doesn't make any sense to have.
Hmm.
Or it's got to have a purpose. And we were talking about my wedding band was my grandfather's wedding band. So it goes back to the 20s.
Hmm.
So it has that, for me, it has that energy which
Yeah.
stayed within the family.
Yeah.
How do people find you?
Through our website, through
Which is?
networking around town.
What's your website?
Website is www.auraluxjewelers.com.
Where do AuraLux come from? 'Cause
Okay, so my husband and I run the company, right?
Right.
So Aura, I'm an energy worker,
Obviously.
energy priestess. So Aura is the aura, that the energy that you put off. Lux is his nickname. It's also what he does, uses for music, his music side.
Okay.
And it's also a lumen of light, right? A measurement of light.
Right.
So radiating and reflecting off your aura.
You know, it's interesting because Freya, who works with me, is she's a card reader, into stones, and Jessica, who works with me, into stones, and also a tarot card reader. And me, I'm on both sides of the fence. So I truly believe in energy. I think it's so, so important to understand that we're all energy.
Mm-hmm.
And not everybody has such good energy.
True.
Okay. But someone's energy that might not be good for you might be a connection to somebody else. And that's how I see it. I'm probably again wrong, but it's how I see it. It's okay. All right. You have a phone number that people can reach you?
I do. Yeah, you can call. My personal cell is 760-708-9212.
Okay. So again, if you want to get it right, you want to use a professional. And what's cool about using somebody like Amber and her company is that if something's not right, you have a face and a person to go back to get it right. And like people say, well, I'll buy it online, it's a lot cheaper. That could be true. But the benefit is not there, meaning if I don't like something, who do I talk to? If I spoke to someone on the phone, the chance of me getting back to that same person is going to be nil. Okay? So always, always use a professional. Amber, I want to thank you for coming on.
Thank you so much.
Everybody have a great day. We'll be right back.